I used to think every family had a favorite child. But when you grow up as the one who isn't, it's not just favoritism. It becomes your whole identity. My name doesn't matter. I doubt my parents even say it much anymore. What matters is what it felt like. Growing up, I had a brother, 2 years older than me. Let's call him Ryan. Tall, charming, athletic. He had this way of lighting up a room. People noticed him, loved him. And my parents? They adored him. Every trophy he brought home ended up on the living room shelf, front and center. Every time he messed up, and he did a lot, they'd brush it off. Boys will be boys. He's just tired. He's under pressure. Me? I was the quiet one. The one who got straight A's. Who came home on time. Who never asked for much. But somehow, I always felt like I was just there. Like a shadow in the corner of their perfect picture. Birthdays came and went. Ryan always got a party. Balloons. Cake. Friends. I got a pat on the head and a $20 bill. If they remembered. It didn't hurt at first. At least not in a way I understood. I just thought that was how things were. But the older I got, the more I started to feel it. Like a splinter in the back of my mind I couldn't dig out. There was this one memory. I think I was 14. Ryan had borrowed my laptop and broken it. Just dropped it down the stairs because he was in a rush to get to soccer practice. I asked him to be careful. That was it. No yelling. No drama. But the moment our dad saw the two of us talking, he got angry at me. Why are you always starting something? I didn't say a word. Just stared at him, confused. You're always picking fights. Always making things harder for Ryan. And then he grounded me. Took my phone. Said I needed to learn respect. Ryan? He left for practice like nothing happened. That's when I started keeping to myself. I'd go to school, come home, eat dinner in silence, go to my room. It was easier that way. Safer. But even that wasn't enough. By the time I turned 17, the distance between me and my family had grown into a canyon. I'd sit at the dinner table and feel like a guest. Or worse, like a mistake no one wanted to admit. Ryan was their golden boy. And me? I was just in the way. What I didn't know then was that things were about to get even worse. Much worse. And that someday soon, they wouldn't just ignore me. They'd erase me entirely. I still remember the night it all fell apart. It wasn't even dramatic, not at first. Just another evening in a house that didn't feel like home. Dinner was on the table. My mother had made something Ryan liked. She usually did. I don't remember what it was. I wasn't hungry anyway. Ryan came in late, loud and laughing. He'd been out drinking again. He was 19 then, already acting like the rules didn't apply to him. They never really did. I stayed quiet, like always. But that night, I slipped. Just once. He was being loud, disrespectful to our mom. Slurring something about how the food tasted off. And I just said, maybe if you actually helped out around here, you'd appreciate what she does. That was it. One sentence. He turned to me, eyes glassy, grin gone. What did you say? I stood up, ready to walk away. But my dad came in, saw the tension, saw Ryan's flushed face, and without asking anything, pointed at me. You're not doing this tonight. I wasn't. Upstairs. Now. I tried to explain, to tell him Ryan had been drinking, that I was just trying to defend Mom. But he didn't want to hear it. And then, the words that still echo in my head. We're done with your attitude. He didn't say it in anger. He said it like a business decision. Cold. Final. I blinked at him, unsure if I heard right. My mom didn't even look up. Just sat there, hands in her lap. Pack your things, my dad said. It's time you figured things out on your own. That was the night I was kicked out of my house. No warning, no plan, no backup. They gave me a black trash bag and a $20 bill. My brother stood in the hallway watching as I packed up my life. My books, my clothes, the little pieces of a childhood I never really got to live. No one stopped me. No one hugged me goodbye. I slept in my car that night. It was November. Freezing. I sat there with my hoodie pulled over my head, hugging my knees to my chest. My phone battery was dying. I had no one to call. No idea where to go. I kept thinking maybe it was a joke, a test, that my dad would call me the next morning and say, all right, come home. Lesson learned. He didn't. Not that morning. Not ever. I tried staying at a friend's place for a while, but his parents weren't comfortable with it. I didn't blame them. So I started sleeping in parking lots, grocery stores, gas stations, anywhere no one would ask questions. I got a job washing dishes at a diner that didn't care I was underage. Minimum wage. Cash under the table. I'd work until 2 a.m. and sleep for a few hours in the back seat of my car, wrapped in whatever blankets I could find. Some nights I didn't sleep at all. Too cold, too hungry, too scared. And yet, somehow, I kept going. Because something inside me refused to die. Something inside me said, I will not disappear. It had been years since I'd heard their voices. Years since that cold night I was told to leave and never come back. I had built everything on my own. One job turned into two, then three. I didn't rest, didn't party, didn't even breathe properly until the day I held the keys to my first home in my hands. It wasn't just a house. It was proof. Proof that I wasn't what they said I was. Proof that I could survive without them. Proof that I was worth something, even if they never saw it. The house was small, plain even, but every inch of it felt sacred. It was quiet, safe, mine. And then, after 5 silent years, my phone rang. I don't know why I answered. Maybe I still had hope, somewhere deep down, that they'd call to say they were sorry, that they'd realized what they did. But no, it was my mother's voice, gentle, almost rehearsed. She asked how I was, said she missed me, that the family wasn't the same without me. And then she started crying. Not for me, for Ryan. He had lost his job. Again, he was drowning in debt. Again, his wife, who had never worked a day in her life, was now pregnant. Again, with their 3rd child. And they had nowhere to go. The apartment they were living in was being taken back by the landlord. He had defaulted on car payments. They were living on scraps and fumes. Then she said the words that turned my stomach. You have a house. Your brother needs a home for his family. I stayed quiet. She filled the silence with more. How the kids shouldn't suffer. How Ryan was trying his best. How his wife, pregnant, was under so much stress. And how I'd be heartless not to help. I said no. Softly, but firmly. She hung up. But she didn't stop. The next morning, I had 3 missed calls. 1 voicemail from my dad. You've made your point. But don't let children suffer for your resentment. Then Ryan messaged me. Something pathetic. A picture of his 2 kids on a stained couch. His wife sitting beside them, visibly pregnant, holding her belly. No words. Just the image. I blocked the number. That night, they showed up at my front door. My mother stood there like nothing had happened. My father behind her, stone-faced. Ryan sat in their car, staring down at his phone like a child being punished. Just let them stay, she whispered, eyes already tearing up. Just for a few months. They're going to be homeless. She's due in November. I closed the door. The calls didn't stop. Every day, voicemails, messages, Facebook tags. She even posted online about how a certain family member had turned their back on pregnant women and innocent children. They made me the villain, the ungrateful son, the bitter brother, the monster who chose a house over family. But no one knew the nights I starved. No one knew the winters I spent curled in the back seat of a broken-down car. No one knew what it cost me to get here. And now they wanted to take it all away, because Ryan had once again collapsed under the weight of his own choices? No, I've cried enough tears for them. They chose him. Now let him carry the burden. The house stays mine, and I sleep just fine.